Hello. Today's topic is intellect, and I talk about how I personally summarize, remember, and make better decisions. Today's video is sponsored by water because it's probably the most healthiest thing there is. Also, I'm trying to have more of a conversation and I'm trying new things out in this video, so please give me your feedback. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, to summarize, I basically put a Google Doc together and I structured it basically in this way. This is my second heading, and then I go further, third heading, fourth heading, and so forth. And I basically write down like interesting concepts or things that I'd like to remember about the book. Now, specifically the book, but not only books, but also like those are books, and here we have like Wait But Why article. That's like a super interesting post. But here, for example, I've summarized 385 pages of like book summaries, and then there are like Wait But Why articles and like Mind Valley stuff and certain YouTube videos I found interesting, and I basically just took notes while doing that. So this is what I do to like kind of structure the things that I learn. So your question might be, oh yeah, that's all fine, good, but I cannot like remember 600 pages. Like, what do the notes bring me? And that's what leads me to my next topic, meaning how to remember things. And I'm not sure. Sure some of you have watched Sherlock Holmes, and he has this interesting thing called a mind palace. And a mind palace is a memory method to just hold information and link them to a specific location, because we humans remember locations better than like pure lists. So if I link, for example, the headings of a book to specific locations, that's how I remember them, because I just have to think of the location. I tried that, but unfortunately it didn't work as well for me. But I found a different variation for that, which worked really good for me. So this is my mind palace, and what I did was that I didn't link the headlines of the books to locations, but more to fictional characters in books or video games. Not sure on how many people read Codex Alera. It's like a super awesome fantasy book series. And also not sure how many play Overwatch, but just as a general thing, I'm going to use Overwatch as an example and how to win friends and influence people. Because here you have like the fundamental techniques in handling people. Those are three topics. Don't criticize or condemn or complain. Be nice. That fits very well to the character Zenyatta. Give honest and sincere appreciation. That fits to Mercy. And arouse in the other person an eager one. That's Lucio. And in my mind, I basically create a scenario where each of those characters would act out those fundamental techniques. And if we continue on the book topics, for example, 6 ways to make people like you. Smile. That's like Anna, the Overwatch character, smiles. So that's just how I connected. Or another good example is win people to your way of thinking. So when we have the chapter begin in a friendly way, I chose Tracer because Tracer is always like cheerful and happy. So this goes really well together, and that's just how I remember it. I could like so my mind palace consists of like a few books now. Here is Aragon, 12 Roots of Life, or The Code of the Extraordinary Mind with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins, or Principle. I connected that with Star Wars. I thought that was really fitting as well, because I was able to divide the sections of the book, like life principles, work principles, with like the Sith side and the Jedi side, and then also the more in-depth chapters of work principles with the original trilogy, the new trilogy, and the Clone Wars. So this is basically how I structure that, and I'm aware that this is not a really topic that's commonly used or taught, but I thought maybe you can try that out for yourself and maybe it works as well. So now that I have talked about how you can summarize things and then remember those, um, how does that lead up to decision making? Just because you have like the knowledge, that doesn't mean you can actually apply it. So interesting concept that I found was in the book Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill, and he talks about something called the invisible counselors, and what that is basically when you go to sleep or whenever you have to make a decision, you close your eyes and you imagine you're in a counselor meeting, and around you sit people that you respect or just want to learn things from. So for Napoleon Hill, he chose people like Lincoln and Addison because he thought they were of great value to him and could help him into the decision making process. So I kind of took this concept and took it a little further, and let me show you how that looks like now. So first of all, I'd like to endorse someone who helped me with this project. I found her on Fiverr actually. This is her site. I will put the link in the description. And she is basically a photo flyer designer. That's what she does. Those are her previous works. And I paid a little more than that. I think I paid 25 euros. So she maybe has a discount or so. But she really did some great work, and please do check her out. So now to the actual thing. This is what I've come up, or I had the idea and she implemented. So this would be my invisible counselor, and those for example, health and fitness, that's Ben Greenfield. Intellectual counselor, that's Jim Kwik. Emotional counselor, that's Tony Robbins. For spiritual counselor, I have Neale Walsch, and I could explain like why everyone fits the role to me, but I think that would like first of all bore you and also extend the video. So this is just like a general concept. The interesting part though is that I've made also a fictional counselor. So what it is, I put the fictional characters in there as well. So for example, for health and fitness, I chose Steve Rogers. For intellectual counselor, Sherlock Holmes, and so forth. Parenting is Jesus, which like who would be a better parent than like the Son of God? I feel like he could say a lot on how to raise children. So whenever I need to make a decision or just like try to connect to my unconscious mind, this is a way for me to do that, and it helped me greatly in decision making and also while meditating. It's like a resource, and when you read Think and Grow Rich, the author Napoleon Hill is extending on that, and at some point when you do it long enough, they actually become real in the sense of your imagination, that they will behave and act out and have conversations with each other. So I've not come to this far yet, but I'm really excited whether or not this works or not. So this is definitely a thing that I really like and hope it will help you too. So that sums up my things I have to say about my intellectual life. I hope I was of service to you, and maybe you can implement some of the things. If you have any questions or so, just post a comment or just communicate with me on the links in the description. It won't be a problem. I will try to answer to every comment. And basically the video is over now. If you want to stick around and hear some side information or so, you are welcome to do so. If not, you can just go ahead and maybe watch another video of mine. So the general thing, because I'm just starting now as a YouTuber, I try to improve. So for example, the thing with the screen sharing, that's a new thing. So I hope this works out in the final cut. And Leah, I hope you can work with my work here. Um, Also added some lightning. Not sure if someone noticed. On hopefully the audio is better now too. If you have any other suggestions, maybe video ideas or so, please hit me up. I'd be happy about any constructive criticism or just in general help from everyone. So I hope to be as educational as I can and hope I can teach you something from my experience. I'm also switching up the framework because I'm not having 12 areas of life anymore. I'm like, kind of didn't want to copy as much from the life book thing, so I kind of made my own things. So I've only 10 categories, but they fit for me better in a way. So there will be another 8 more videos about that. The next one will be about spirituality, so stay tuned for that. Right, have a good one.